Hello, party people. All right. Mr. Williams.
I have to say something real quick, though. You know what's cool?
What?
I had a Monday with no sleep from last night. And as soon as you went live, this little blurb popped up and it said, "You are live." I went, wow. That felt good.
It's like you are alive? Like
yeah, like you are alive. It kind of gave me some faith, you know?
Oh, good.
Cool, thank you.
Yes. See, all you need to do is go to Facebook and go live, and it'll give you faith that you are alive. All right, I got to share this around.
You share it around.
I got to share it
Hello,
around.
Judy. Hello, Omega. Hello, StreamYard. Who's StreamYard?
StreamYard is the service I'm using.
Oh, I thought it was somebody. Okay.
No, it's not a person. You silly. By the way, I want you all to know that Mr. Williams was abusing me before we started the live. He was abusing me. He wasn't nice. Hopefully he's nice now.
I think they're having a hard time believing you.
It's true. Okay. Okay, I can't chew gum and why do I hear an echo? Say something so I can see if I hear an echo.
Testing 1, 2, 3. We are live. I am live from Las Vegas. You can't say that, see?
No, I can't. I can say I'm live from Wolcott Estates. Oh, okay.
I'm live. Hello, Delroy.
Where else do I want to share this? Let's share this in Ray, you're not helping fill the air while I'm doing this.
Oh, I thought you want to be quiet while you shared.
No, I want you.
Oh, okay.
While I figure this out.
Hello, ladies. Hello, Maria. Hello, Olivia. I am filling the air. Yes, it's Ray.
You're a putz.
I'm a putz. Yes. Hello, Barbara. Good evening. Welcome to a get together. Thank you for coming. It is Monday night. You are live.
Share.
Judy, the echoing is normal, by the way. It just.
No, it's not.
I get echoing all the time when I talk to you. Are you kidding? It's not echo. It's feedback.
Okay.
Hello, Peter. Hello from Toronto.
Hey guys, can do us all a favor and go ahead and share this around. Well, I share it around. Let's get it out there before we start. We have a great topic tonight, I think.
Ray has a little echo, but you don't.
What? Do you have your headset on? I'm not looking at you.
Do I have a headset? Yes. Same one I always use.
But you have it on.
I have it on.
Okay. I don't know. This has been shared to my story. Did you guys know you could share this to your story? I don't know if you guys can. I shared it to my story. I think that's pretty cool. Story.
Very cool.
Now, you guys paying attention to stories? Share. I want to share it to a group. Come on, Ray. Entertain.
Emilio. Mine does echo a tiny bit, but then it stops. That's because my voice is reverberating out throughout the universe, and I wanted to.
Is that what it is? Reverberating throughout the universe because you are all the mighty and powerful Raymond E. Williams?
No, I'm the mind mechanic, and I'm reverberating.
Oh, I got it. All right, I got one last place to share, and then I'll be good. You guys know I can't chew gum and whatever at the same time.
You're doing fine. Aaron Andrews does not have an echo. See? Maria shared. Oh, wow.
Thank you, Maria. Who else is going to share for me tonight? Give us thumbs up and hearts and lollipops and rainbows and unicorns and pastrami on rye. No mustard.
Guys, I'll have her mustard.
I'm against mustard. Is anybody else here against mustard?
How are you against mustard?
I'm against it, fundamentally.
God invented mustard, okay?
Well, I find mustard seed in the seed form. Okay, no mustard for me. Thank you very much. So let's get started. First of all, good evening, everybody, and welcome. I tend to get a little bit too familiar. I forget that there's always new people coming on and meeting us, and we are echoing. It's making me kooky. I don't know why. But yeah, feedback.
So we're both getting it.
Well, I'm hearing it.
I'm getting it as well now.
You're getting it as well.
Yeah. Happens some nights it happens.
I suppose I could go get a headset, but it's not handy. So let's see what we do.
Okay.
In any case, if you've just come on or you're just meeting us or somebody invited you down, we are the Society of I Am. It's a Facebook group that was started, oh gosh, a couple months ago. We just flew past 600 members, which I'm very excited about. You saw that, Ray, right?
Yep.
600
members. I added to it. I want to see it at 6,000.
Well, it will be, but I mean, we're not even trying yet. And it's kind of fun. It's just word of mouth and things making their way around. And we'd appreciate it if you find some, some value in tonight that you share it too. There is a Facebook group. It's just facebook.com/groups/Society of I Am. Maybe one of you guys can type that in the comments for us. Would be great. Actually, I should do it because this is going live in a bunch of different places. Or just go to Facebook and search Society of I Am. You'll find both our page and our group. Please like the page. Guys, those of you that are members, if you haven't liked the page, please do. And if you want to join the group, it's free. It's open to the public. Anybody can come, but you got to answer a few questions so we know you're not, spammy majammy or whoever. Spammy majammy. You know that person. Like, don't go in there looking to, pick up chicks and or people for your email. Okay, it's a really nice community, and the main focus is Monday nights we get together, and then sometimes we play it or we talk. And I'm just putting together a group of contributors that are going to be publishing some things. Maybe we can even get Mr. Williams to go live once a week in there. Maybe.
Never know.
Possibly. In case you guys are wondering who the heck are these two and why should we listen to that? Why should I listen to either one of you? I've been in the home business industry for 20 years, been around the block or 10 times with that, top earner at a company, and have done a lot of really cool stuff in that space. And so I've done a lot with this concept of I Am, and I've spent a lot of time with people that I see struggling, getting to where they want to go. And a lot of it has to do with this concept of I Am, which we'll mention in a minute. Mr. Williams has been a hypnotist for 20 years. And isn't it interesting that I started in my industry and you started in your industry right around the same time?
Same time. Do you remember your month by any chance?
I know exactly when. It was October.
I think, I can't lie here. I want to say mine was either September or October, one of the two. I don't know.
It was the fall. You told me that. So
it was the fall.
Yes, October 4th was the day I officially signed on the dotted line and opened a home business. Wow. Now, I started using the products from that company in September. So either way, we're about the same. And he has helped many people, including yours truly, getting past blockages and different things. And we're going to talk about some of that tonight. So basically our whole deal here is we just want to help people, which sounds so, whatever. Everybody always says that, but we're actually out doing it and talking to you guys about some of the things that people don't always want to talk about. And so tonight I was inspired by a couple different things. And Ray, if it's okay with you, I'm going to tell a story and then you and I can mix it up on the topic.
You're prettier than I am, and you got a nicer voice, so go ahead.
Well, thank you. I actually think your voice is nicer than mine. If you've never heard of Ray hypnosis tape, they're pretty amazing. I listen to mine all the time. So I'll take the prettier if you take the better voice.
Works.
Okay, that's fair. Several years ago, I had a student that worked with me, went on to become very successful. And when they first started working with me, they would constantly be like fascinated. And they called me Swami, which I think is ironic because I always call you Swami now because you do hypnosis. And I'm like, Swami, fix me. I'm doing this thing. Fix me, Swami me up. He called me Swami, and he said it was because I always knew. Now, I wish I always knew. Sometimes I think I always know. Ray knows that, and I don't. But often I can tell what the outcome with somebody's going to be when I first meet them. Like I can tell where they're going to go in their business. And I remember when I was newer in the game, my business mentor used to do the same thing. And I used to get mad at him. And I used to think he was negative. And I used to, because I was still at this phase, and actually still am 20 years later, of anybody can do it if they want to, and it's possible, and all that good stuff. And I still 100% believe that. But he was responding to something in particular that I learned over the years to respond to something in particular. And even though I 100% believe that anybody can make it in a home business or in anything you want, I mean, anybody can become a brain surgeon, but most people won't. And there's a whole bunch of reasons, but we're going to get into one of them tonight. And that is the stories we tell ourselves. The reason I could always tell what the outcome was going to be with a person was the way they were communicating with me, the words they were using, which were representative of what they were telling themselves and what they believed about themselves. So this particular student, Matthew called me darling. I think that's very intimate of you there, Mr. Monat. I don't know what's up with that. How are you? How are the kids? Everybody good? I hope so. I haven't found my spot yet, by the way. If you've never heard me speak, I'm like a dog, and I have to circle like 6 times until I find that spot. You have a dog, Ray? You know. But when I find my spot, I settle in, and it's good stuff. I'd meet someone, still do. And in fact, one of my students right now can tell you, she tried to work with me multiple times and I kept turning her away. I should have had her on to tell that story. We'll do that. In fact, she's interviewing me tomorrow. Maybe we can talk about that. She kept approaching me to work with me as a student, and I kept turning her away. And most people will be like, just take her money. And I kept turning her away. And the reason why was because I could tell from the words she was using with me what the words were that she was saying to herself. And if somebody's saying the wrong words to themselves, and if somebody is telling themselves stories, then, they're going to have a problem. Now, here's what's cool. Ray, I believe there are 2 types of delusional.
Okay.
The first type of delusion is, I'm going to get rich. I don't have to do any work. I'm going to sip out of a coconut. I'm just going to sit here and recruit 3 people, and I'm going to get rich. Yeah, I'm delusional. You know that person. I'm happy. I'm clappy. I'm this. I'm pestering everybody I can find. I'm freaking delusional.
But are you crushing it at the same time?
I am crushing it. I am killing it. I am part-time with a full-time attitude. I am ready to rock and roll. Let's get this party started. Let's fire it up, baby. Vision board and my to-do list and my this list, and I am living a life of gratitude, man, because I am ready to crush this thing. Freaking delusional. Okay. The other type of delusional, I'm that one, is the little housewife with no business background, with no education in the field, who goes to a meeting, looks at it and goes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make millions of dollars and do millions in sales and travel around the world and go to all these cool things and do all this stuff. And I did it. Now, both are kind of delusional, right? One is happy, clappy, freaking out, this and that. And another one is sitting there looking at something that really they have no business even being involved in. And they go to work.
Question.
Yes.
And I lovingly say this. I've told I've told the world I professed my love to you before, so okay.
Okay.
Let's person A. We've all seen that person.
Mm-hmm.
Enough said, as they say. Let's take you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you really feel you were delusional, or was your like, I know your nature more than God does, okay? And you have this very gentle way of approaching something and embracing it. I've seen Diane Hawkins before, not too many though, touched me on that one. I've seen people with this, yeah, I can do this. And with this Pollyanna kind of innocence proceed forward, and they wound up doing it. So were you really delusional, or did you have this naivete that was your saving grace? Hmm?
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at, and I always like that analogy of two kinds of delusional. One is looking at something, looking at the mountain and going, I can climb that thing, and going one step at a time. And the other one is looking at the mountain and going, I'm going to get up in 2 minutes, right? The stories, and by the way, I'm using my story, sharing that, but I mean, look at all the people that you know. Oh, look, Hunter Williams is here. And I was just about to say, I don't know if you guys know Angel Fletcher, but Angel Fletcher, she could sit here and tell you 76 reasons. I think she made a list. It was like 70 some odd reasons on why she should have never made it. She was hundreds of pounds overweight. She was on welfare. She was this, she was that. I don't want to ruin this, her story. I'll have her on one night. But she is the epitome of delusional. When I met her, she didn't know what anything was about this industry, and she has far surpassed pretty much everybody I know. It's crazy, right? Crazy. And there's lots of other people that came in all like ready to go and da-da-da-da, and they're long gone. So what's the difference between and Ray Higdon? Ray Higdon, when he made the decision to become Ray Higdon that we know today, and I've known Ray for a long time, he literally was in foreclosure. He had lost everything he had. And that's when he made the delusional decision that he was going to do this. Delusional, right? And I can sit here and go through person after person after person after person after person that made it, that shouldn't have made it. And I could show you person after person after person. Well, I won't point them out, but they're everywhere of people that should have made it. More education, more money to start with, more, flexibility, as far as, being able to come and go. Maybe they could fly, they could do different things. I had no money. I had no ability to, what was I going to do? Stick my kids in a closet and leave out some food for them and just take off? It was an option. You could duct tape children to the wall. It's pretty good. And then you set up a feeding system. Mm-hmm. I saw somebody had a picture of that once. They 6-year-old and duct taped them to the wall. I'm sure for the photo op. But so what did one person say to themselves that knocked them out of the game? And what did another person say to themselves that kept them in the game? Why are there companies that are here 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later? And why are there companies that wipe out in a minute? Why are there people that should have, that had all the resources long gone, and the people that had nothing at the top of the game? Do you know how many people I know have either had that are top of the game, severe health issues, alcoholism, depression, medical, all kinds of stuff, every obstacle under the sun. I mean, I didn't have those kinds of obstacles at all. I just didn't have any money and I had little kids. What's the difference? What is the story that we're telling ourselves about ourselves and about our circumstance and about what's involved that keeps us from getting where we want to go? So when my buddy my student used to say to me, how do you always know? It wasn't because I was judging anybody, because that's the beautiful thing about, especially today with the internet, anybody can be anywhere. Anybody can do anything. Anybody can get famous. And I remember when they used to have, get famous on the internet was like the big tagline years ago. Anybody can get famous on the internet. Anybody can build a business on the internet. Who did I just have a discussion with? The manager at the steakhouse that I was at, right, over the weekend. Manager came over and we were talking. And I was saying how you can really go in and dominate any market. It's not that hard to do. Build a list, right? I talk to people all the time about building lists. I talk to people about this, that, and the next thing. And why do some of them do it? Why did you do it? Right? Why do other people resist it? Why does one person hear some simple directions and execute? And why does another person hear the simple directions and overcomplicate it and never execute? Mm-hmm. What's the difference? The stories we tell ourselves. I remember, and some of you guys have been around me long enough to know, Peter's been around me a long time, Matthew's been around me a long time. Some of you guys are new, just getting to know me. I used to, and I've told you this because we talked about being technical or not being technical. I was such a mess on the computer that I used to call my webinars gone wild. Because I knew that the chances of my blowing it up or screwing up something technical was so high that I literally started telling people, come, she might screw it up or you might learn something. Either way, it's going to be amusing. I had all these taglines and stuff, and I literally had a logo made, Webinars Gone Wild. And somebody took, do you remember the book Where the Wild Things Are?
I own it. I actually have a copy of it.
Okay. Well, somebody took the cover of Where the Wild Things Are and they put my face on the little guy swinging from the tree because you never knew what was going to happen. I actually took the thing that scared me the most, that I was going to look like an idiot in front of hundreds of people, and I turned it into the plus because I had to change the story that I was telling myself. Because if I didn't change the story, I wouldn't do the webinar. If I didn't do the webinar, I wouldn't get the business. If I didn't get the business, I wouldn't be able to take care of my family, so on and so forth. When I say, why don't you go live and share that story, I can instantly tell where the person is based upon what they say to me about going live. If I say, have you put together your email list? I can instantly tell where that person is based upon what they tell me, because what they tell me is representative of the story they're telling themselves. And by the way, I'm talking about business because a lot of us guys that hang out, we have businesses, but this could be true of relationships. Maybe I want to date but I'm convinced and tell myself I can never meet someone. I'm not going to meet anyone. I'm never going to go out. Maybe I want to get fit. Ray, I've struggled with my weight my whole life. I've always told myself stories about my body. I've told myself stories about gyms. I've told myself stories about, well, Cindy, we're getting to that. Cindy said, so how do you change the story? Why do you think I brought the smart one on? Just the cute one. Okay. So think about it. Millions of people go to a gym every day and love it. Diane has a story from when she was a kid. I'm talking about myself in the third person. Now we're getting creepy about what's wrong with gyms. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who's going to get successful with their body? The person who has the right story in their head about going to the gym. In fact, this man broke me. He had me out walking every single day, every morning. And when I was in Las Vegas, he had me out at 6:30 in the morning. I don't do 6:30 in the morning, let alone morning. And he had me waking up every morning going, I'm going walking. He helped me change the story that I had about mornings. He helped me change the story I had about schedules. There was a while where I wouldn't book any appointments. Guys. Now I'm like appointmented up the wazoo, right? But I wouldn't book any appointments because I got this thing. I wanted to bolt. I didn't want to be scheduled. I was just like, I'll talk to them when I talk to them. And he's like, how are you run a business like that? And I'd be like, well, I can do what I want. I mean, da, 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 da. And he's like, that's stupid story. And he didn't say that, but I said it to myself. You have to.
No, I just smiled at you.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's like, okay, good. How's that working out for you? And I'm just being transparent and telling you guys some of the things because for whatever reason, my story about business, I just always told myself, I believe them. When they said it was fun, simple, magical, I believed them. When they said, anybody can do it, I believed them. When they said all that stuff, I went hook, line, and sinker. And whether I was naive or Pollyanna or whatever, I actually believed them.
Hey, Di.
Yeah.
You brought up, I didn't want to cut you off, but you brought up a very, very astute point, which needs to be addressed. Yes, you did.
I made an astute point?
Yes, you did, madam. Wow. Okay. And there's so many cliches that are played out, overplayed, beat up. And this morning I put a post up about inspirational quotes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mindset, quotes, belief. If you want to get down to it, okay, let's go back to go forwards here. Remember, all right, Mr. Happy Clappy or Crappy. Is it Clappy or Crappy? I always mess it up. Clappy. So Clappy Crappy, okay. And he's okay. And he fell on his tuchus. For you guys don't know, that's a Yiddish expression from Brooklyn. Okay.
Sheila.
Yeah. And then there's you who goes out there with this again, I could call a Pollyanna demeanor, and you did it. Okay. You said the magic word. Now, of course, there's a little more to the story than the magic word. Okay, notice you said to the guy who called you Swami. Okay, I can always tell by the words. Okay, you believed it. Belief, guys, is 90%. 90% of the magic sauce. And it's like you'll hear us do threads and rants, at least myself. You rant. I kind of like I deflect you to rant, so not. Belief. Consider belief like a psychic energy. People always want to have this infrastructure or this information. This lady had nothing. Nothing. Just going in there. Yeah, I can do this. The rest, think of belief like a psychic energy, like a spiritual energy, like a mental, emotional, spiritual energy. It is. It's true, too. And imagine, well, everything's energy. Everything in the universe is all energy, okay? Every energy has a frequency to it. You guys will hear me here say 1,000 times, and some worked in one-on-one with me. You're a radio station. You transmit a vibration. You receive a vibration, okay? Belief has an energy. It has a frequency to it. Mr. Happy, Clappy, his BS and trying to show off for the moment, that has a frequency to it too, okay? I want everybody here, yourself, myself included, I always remind myself, do you believe or not believe? Okay, yeah, I choose to, why do I believe? Am I going to do something? Yeah. Is it everything I want to do? I don't know. Do you believe you can do it? Yes. You have the demeanor of a child, and I mean that with the highest compliment.
No, I take that as a very high compliment.
And I mean, but okay, take that demeanor. Why do you think children have such vivid imaginations? They believe. They get all screwed up like we did and get bounced around and flush things down the toilet. You know, they believe. The belief, that innocence is a adolescent belief. That's why you did what you did. Simple. I choose to believe. You didn't get caught up in the minutia and the infrastructures and give me all the details. And I can do this. Okay. Then you proceeded forward and things fell into place as you went forward.
Well, I've said a million times, if you just keep stepping forward, the people, places, and things you require to get to your destination show up. And I hold you up as an example of that. I was going through a rough personal time. But I just kept stepping. I just kept going. I did the best I could, and poof, you know, a new teacher shows up. Guys, one of the lines that my business mentor used to say a lot, and I think you might even want to write it down. Hopefully you guys got notebooks for Society of I Am. It's what you argue for, you get to keep. And what you argue for, you get to keep. And he embedded that in me a long time ago. And that's what I watch when I'm talking to someone. What are they arguing for? What are they trying to convince themselves or me of? See, if I argue that I can do this because I want to be home with my kids, and guys, I don't mean arguing, but that I'm reminding myself, I'm talking to myself and saying, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Whatever it is I argue for, whatever it is I fight for, right? Fight for your focus, whatever it is I fight for, that's the thing that will show up. So if you start monitoring yourself and you start to notice, and this is what I do with Ray, a lot of times I call him up and I go, wow, I just realized I'm doing this. If you start monitoring yourself, you start to realize how much you are arguing against yourself. I argue against my body. I have as long as I can remember. I argue against, you know, these different things. And in my mind, I'm keeping myself from the very thing that I desire. And sometimes, and here's what's really tricky for you guys, and Ray can, I'm sure, pick this apart or take us in another direction, whatever he sees fit. Sometimes you think you're arguing for the thing you want when you're really arguing against it. And what I mean by that is when we're busy doing mantras or doing this, when we're forcing something, sometimes there's like a double edge of, I'm not expressing this well, there's a double edge of the conversation we're having with ourselves. It's like, I'm going to execute this, this, and this week. And then on the back end, your brain, your mind, your soul is going, like just like you did last week, loser. You didn't do that last week either. So you think you're training yourself because you're trying to train yourself in your conscious mind. And what's really happening is your conscious mind is saying this and your subconscious mind is saying that. And the subconscious mind always wins. And Ray, I'm sure, can talk about that. The subconscious mind will always win. Period, over now. So you could be going, oh, I'm going to crush this thing and I'm going to do this. And the biggest line that if you ever say this, don't say it. Train yourself not to. And if you hear someone say it to you, it's telltale. I'm going to make you a lot of money. I'm going to make you rich. As soon as somebody says, let's do this thing, I'm going to make you so much money, you know, because you're their sponsor, 99.999% chance that they will be gone within 90 days. So their mouth is saying, I'm going to make you a lot of money, but their subconscious doesn't believe that at all. And, or they actually have a resentment about anybody making money from their efforts, which then sabotages them. And it goes on and on and on and on and on, right? See, Terry said, what you argue for, you get to keep. And so I always watch myself, and I'm a work in progress by far, but I'll realize that I'll sit and I'll be about something, and I'll go, damn it, I'm arguing for something that I'm going to have to keep. And it's a messy thing. The stories we tell ourselves are the exact things that are keeping us from the very thing we want. Ray, tell us smart. Tell us something we need to know. What do we need?
Let's go back to the point you brought up, okay? Whether I'm arguing for what I really want or I'm arguing to argue, and I don't really know which one's showing up, okay? So what do you feel is the litmus test to know if what you're arguing for is really what is true? What do you feel it is?
I I watch people, and I may be going sideways, so guide me if I am.
Quite all right.
I watch people, they'll come, like, especially with me. I've been doing this for 20 years. You've been doing it for 20 years, what you do. People will come to me and they want guidance. And then I give them the guidance, and then they tell me all the reasons. They start arguing about some other way to do it, or the way they were taught, or the way this, or the way that, and they're busy arguing. They'll sit and they'll argue with you. And when somebody, oh, here's another one. What you have to explain, you don't possess. What you have to explain, these are great Joe lines, my mentor, business mentor, not my mind mentor here. What you have to explain, you don't possess. So if I give someone the direction they asked for, and then they want to argue with it, I'm like, okay, go do whatever you want. You're like this too. I'll be like, I'll be sitting there arguing and negotiating with you, and you're like, yeah, because when you possess something, you're not going to sit and negotiate it. You're not going to argue it. You're not going to go back and forth. So I watch someone, and they say they want something, but then they go to the person that has it, and they won't do what that person says.
Exactly.
That's
also, you have to look, another telltale barometer. Look at what you have. And again, it's another play it out word here, but okay. Your actions, are they producing, are they bringing to fruition what you are trying to do? If they're not congruent, well, what story are you happy with how you're feeling in here? Are things bit by bit in some rough way coming into shape, or are you beating your head against the wall? Biggest way. Okay, how is it coming together? Is it coming together? Am I happy? Do I see things falling into play here? Big one to look at.
My line with people about that is, show me your fruit.
Bingo.
Awesome, you've done. Show me the fruit. Was there profit this week, or depending on what the outcome was that you were after? Show me your fruit, because we could talk about something for forever, but what do we got? What grew? And that's powerful.
That's, I mean, it's simple. It's, the answer, how I like doing this, right? Okay. But you can't see. All right. What are you arguing for? Are you seeing signs of it, telltales coming into your being, what you're arguing for? What you're looking at doesn't lie. You can try kidding yourself. And we know those people who try kidding themselves, how it winds up. Not too spiffy.
It's interesting. And we won't stay on too much longer. I want to open everybody's minds up. And then, guys, if you're in the Facebook group, we can discuss this all week. And extract from Ray and pick each other's brains. But we have a choice to become very focused, to truly decide what we want, and then to go after it, taking action so that the people, places, and things can start to show up to guide us down the next, part of our path. Or we can continually tell ourselves stories that keep us on a merry-go-round. And some people like merry-go-rounds. And sometimes being on the merry-go-round allows you to tell yourself the story again, and so on and so forth. For me, I picked teachers. I didn't try to listen to everything, because that's another problem that people have, is they're listening to so many contradictory things that it's confusing them. Like, some people will get off of here and at 9 o'clock go to another thing and another thing and another thing. I'd rather have you not come here, guys, than keep wandering around in the desert looking for water that's right in front of you. So deciding what you want, deciding it's possible, believing it's possible. See, I never didn't believe it was possible. I don't know why. I wish I could I wish I could tell you why that happened, but I went to a meeting. I looked at it. I looked at the people that were making great money, and I said, this is possible. Now, what's interesting is I ended up going down a different path than I ever expected because the people, places, and things showed up, and I ended up getting into different aspects of industry. What happens when you get so lost you can't see the vision? I can't stand the merry-go-round. Yeah, the merry-go-round is kooky. It is super kooky, Julie.
Call a hypnotist.
I was just going to say, Julie, what you need is an outside person. And that's something that it's funny, I've been very good at and very bad at my whole career in life. I ended up having some very profound mentors that I spent years with. But then in between, I tend to get a little, I don't know whether it's ego or whether it's what that keeps me from seeking assistance. I went through, a rough couple years for a little while.
I don't know if you just hopped on, Julie, but when I used to give lectures and work with one-on-ones, I have an expression. All right. I don't know if you see me do this, but basically what you're referring to is what you can't see. Why can't you see it? It's right under your own nose. Okay. That's why you can't see that. And Diane had a good word. Okay. If you can't see, if it feels rotten there, get someone else that knows what they're talking about, bounce it off of them.
Yeah. And it's important to get someone that doesn't have financial interest in you, or at least in the beginning, because I ended up working with some of the people that were teachers to me, but in the beginning, they didn't have financial interest in me. And I don't mean like I would hire them, but they weren't, it wasn't like an upline type of situation. A lot of people think that the person that recruits them is going to be the person that can help them with that, but there's a personal interest in the middle. So, it's got to be somebody outside. In this particular case, this stage of my life, it was Ray. He was completely outside of any of my business stuff, and now we do business together. But that wasn't how it started. It just started as a person who could see the cycle that I had put myself in. And his claim to fame is he got me off the couch, because I literally just sat on the couch and watched TV for I don't know how long. I was just enjoying my residual income that I believed I could earn and sitting around and crying and being a mess. And I had gone to, get some help in different places. And this guy ended up being the one that, for whatever reason, he could tap dance in this very complicated mind of mine. So it's been wonderful. And now because of it, it's opened back up, and I'm back out with a lot of other people and colleagues, and, back into masterminds and different things that I couldn't bring myself to go to. So
it's tough for ourselves to bring ourselves. Like years ago, I had a brief conversation with Wayne Dyer, who long crossed over, and this very subject came up about why is it so hard to us work on ourselves? As Ray, try standing on your own shoulders. That's what self-help's about. You can't, because you're playing with your own ego. You can't see you for you. Like I said, you can't see that.
People forget that Wayne Dyer was a therapist. He had
Dr. Dyer.
He did the stuff, but he was a therapist, a PhD level therapist. I think for all of us, we have to become super cognizant of what we're saying to ourselves and the games that we're running on ourselves. And that takes work. And I've read a gazillion self-help books, and I'm glad I did, including Wayne Dyer's books. But those things prepared me then to get help from a human, because a book can't help you, and whether it's getting help from somebody like Ray, whether it's getting, some type of business help from somebody like me, whether it's changing who you're hanging out with, all those old phrases about show me the 5 people you hang out with most and all that stuff, who you hanging out with. And I'm not talking about on Facebook, Okay. I know we like and comment on each other's stuff all day. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about who are you hanging out with? And or in my case, I tend to isolate. So I wasn't hanging out with anybody. I just stopped hanging out. I just isolated. I just went on that couch. It was so nice. It was cozy and I had a blankie, a lot of food, and and a remote control, and it was great. But then I'm not fulfilled, and then I have to get up, and that's probably been one thing that I think both of us can say. We've been through up and down and everything else. I'd rather be on a roller coaster than a merry-go-round. Yeah. Because at least on a roller coaster, if you get to the bottom, you know that the next step is up. At least if you're sitting on that couch and you've done some of that personal development work, which it is important. It's just not the full end game, but sitting and thinking about this is winter and after winter comes spring, and sitting and thinking about I had to find my dream again. And then once I found my dream, I was ready to get some assistance. Once I found my, I was telling myself stories about why I couldn't, why I shouldn't, what people were thinking about me. Nobody was thinking about me at all. I had disappeared. I was sitting on the couch, but I had concocted all of this stuff. And I became a different kind of delusional. Luckily, my original delusion came back, and I'm back here with everybody, and I'm back here looking to lay hands on everybody and love everybody and help everybody and teach what I know. And it is my intention. And in fact, I had a conversation with somebody just yesterday. Guys, the stuff that I did for years, that I've taught for years, and I still love to teach, it's been so twisted and turned every other way. I'm going to change all the language and change everything. Because I have things, it's time for words. It's time for new. I don't want to be the queen of attraction marketing anymore because of what people think attraction marketing is today. I don't want to be the queen of anything. I want to be the person that leaves a legacy that helps all of you find your way. And that's a big part of why I bring Ray out. Because Ray, and I'm really hoping, Ray, that you start contributing to the group on a weekly basis with a video or something or whatever you see fit. Because all of you can do whatever it is you want. I know. I did the thing I wanted. I just lost track of what I wanted. Now I know again. So is it that you don't know what you want? And that's okay. Make some money in the meantime, or do whatever. And once you know what you want, get help. Get help. Get perspective. Get, people around you and get help. And that's when I started Society of I Am. What did I ask all of you guys? I don't ever ask people to share my content and share my stuff. And I really don't. I've always been kind of not that person. This thing, I'm asking all of you, bring people to the group, share these videos, share what Ray's talking about, and we'll have other guests and different people come in. Share this. This is really what my life's work has been. Yeah, I generated a few leads and made a few dollars and sold some stuff. But this is my work. And I humbly ask you to share it. Julie said, how do you figure out what you want? I have my answer. I don't know what your answer is.
How do you figure it out? Mm-hmm. Well, Julie, I gave a whole talk on that. And hey, let's chat sometime. It's a little easier than people make it out to be. It's, you've heard the quiet voice inside. It's not so quiet. Sometimes it kind of giggles. Sometimes it kind of might laugh. Sometimes it just might do a combination of things. So put it this way, I'll give you a little hint for starters. When if we're feeling flustered, we're feeling angry, we're feeling disappointed, instead of not acknowledging that, okay, this poop don't feel good. That's a spiritual term, by the way, poop. Just let you know. Yeah. If you're feeling, okay, this stuff's no good, acknowledge that, distance yourself back. Okay, what I'm focusing on is making me feel disappointed, angry, hurt, any of that. Okay, then imagine your mind's eye. Okay, I want to walk away from that. Okay, now that might help you, Grant, might help you. But here's what people do. They continue to focus on the negative, and they're not even thinking to turn away from what they're not wanting. Then they get fixated on what they don't want, if that makes sense to you. And we can chat if you want. I don't care. Let me know.
My feeling, Julie, is you keep stepping with an open mind and an open heart, because things sometimes they jump out at us, people jump out at us, and then all of a sudden in an instant we know. So sometimes we don't know, and then we keep moving and something tilts. Maybe tonight coming on here, tilted you in a way. Maybe have you guys ever gone to an event and met the right person? Have you ever, listened to a message that tilted you in a moment? You have to keep moving to let that moment happen. Does that make sense to you guys? If you're not moving, going forward, if you're not learning, if you're not talking to people, that's why I'm such a crazy networker. Like, people are always like, I want to meet people everywhere I go. And I'm very shy. You guys don't realize that I have a hard time outside of the industry, but I'm trying to meet people. You never know who you're sitting next to. And that one person can change your world. And by the way, you know how I met Ray Williams? I sold him a website. I had no idea who he was. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know anything about my background or, my illustrious speaking career or anything else. He didn't know anything about me. He just knew I was a chick that had the website. So unfortunately, the company went belly up and he never got his website. He got stuck with me.
God, it sounds like a...
So isn't it funny? And
hey, that'd be a good T-shirt, wouldn't it?
What?
I never got my website, but I got one up with Diane Hockman.
Yeah, right. Very nice T-shirt. And what's even funnier is that when he told me about hypnosis and stuff, I violently rejected the idea of doing any of it. I violently rejected the idea of telling him any of my personal business. There was no way in heck I was going to tell you about my personal business. Now, this man knows more about me than probably my mother, my father, my sisters, and my kids combined.
God.
Scary. You could bribe me. You can make memes about me all day long. You know that one with the one that's been so popular with the girl and the cat?
Right.
When you could come up with some crazy picture and make Hockman memes all day. And you just don't know. You don't know who's on the other side of a phone. You don't know who. And ironically, I was working in Arizona at the time, and he was coming down to the office, and I was heading home that weekend. So I wasn't there. So our paths kept crossing. It was like the universe
literally passed.
And so I left, and then I came back, and then the company went out, and I felt bad, and we started talking. And one day he just said, just let me try something on you. Just let me. And I don't know why, but something in me said, okay, let me try. And the rest is history. So, and it's the same, by the way, my business mentor that I worked with for years, it was the same kind of weird, crazy story on how I met him. And it's a weird, crazy story on how I ended up in the industry. Guys, I'm a teacher. I had no intention of being in this industry. I didn't think I wanted to be a marketer. Here's the last line from my business mentor that I will give you guys tonight, and we'll wrap it up. We went longer than I expected to, but it was, I think, a good discussion. You have to be a yes person. Okay. When I got invited to a meeting, I said, sure, why not? When when Joe said to me, why don't you come down to Jersey? We're having a get together, come have dinner with all of us. I went to Jersey. The rest is history. When different people said, hey, can you come to our event? Or can you speak? Even when I didn't have enough money to go, I said yes. And I just kept saying yes. And when this ding dong over here went, sit down, I'm going to do this thing on you, just shut up and do it, I went, okay, yes. My life was forever changed. So all of you, keep stepping, keep your mind and heart open, say yes more often, like you did tonight to this, coming to this live, and say yes to people, places, experiences, etc., because you never, ever, ever know what's sitting right around the corner. And through all of this, I've decided to come back to the thing I love, which is this stuff. I love it. Can I teach you how to build a capture page? Yes. Can I teach you how to fill an autoresponder? Yes. Can I teach you copywriting? Yes, I will. I have all kinds of stuff coming up, and I will if that's what you want. I have it. But this is my passion. And the last line from Joe was, what you give away, you get to keep. And that's why this is free and open to the public. So, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for everything.
Very welcome. Thank you, too. Thanks for showing up in my life.
I got you doing lives and writing emails.
Yeah, they're been kind of fun, some of them.
Still doesn't have a website, though. Well, he has a capture page, but he doesn't have a website. We'll get that. We'll get there.
We're getting there.
We'll get there. All right, gang. We're going to wrap it up. If you're not in the group, please ask to be in the Society of I Am group. We are 600 plus members now. If you want to hold a watch party with this, love it. If any of you guys ever want to have me or Ray go live on your wall with you, hit us up to talk about society or talk about something else that you guys want to talk about. We'd love to come out and, share the good news of what we're doing here. We'd love to go live on your wall with you. So, and if you don't have the software to do that, I can show you how to do that. Very easy. All right. Good night, you guys. We'll see you.
Good night, guys. Good seeing you
next time. Take care.
Again.